How's it going, everybody? We are checking out another exhaust for the S650 today. This is the Flowmaster Outlaw Series axleback for the 2024 Mustang GT. Now this is specifically for the non-active exhaust, but don't worry, if you have an active exhaust on your Mustang, they do make an Outlaw Series specifically for the active exhaust as well too. Now the cool thing about this exhaust is the fact that this is going to be a very aggressive and very loud exhaust. Compared to the American Thunder series, they have giant mufflers back here, and as you can see on the Outlaw series, there is no giant mufflers back here, so we're gonna get a ton of noise out of this. Now, if you end up installing these and you decide that somehow these aren't loud enough, Flowmaster also sells an X-pipe, so you can ditch that factory resonator, throw an X-pipe setup on, and get even more of an aggressive sound out of the exhaust. Just like all the other Flowmaster products, this is going to be made out of a 409 stainless steel, which gives it that durability and that aggressive sound that's going to come from it. And besides the sound, when you install this, you are going to gain about 8 horsepower and 7 foot-pounds of torque. But besides the sound and the power gains you're going to get from it, this exhaust is also just going to look really cool on the back of your S650. Now you can either purchase it with these black tips, just like how our exhaust is on the table, or they do have an option with polished tips as well too. Now it's whatever you prefer, but in my opinion, they both look really good, so it's definitely a little bit of a hard decision to make. Now, I'm super excited to throw this on our S650, so let's get it up in the air, get these factory mufflers off, and see how these Outlaw Series axlebacks sound on the S650 Mustang. So to start this install off, we actually have to make a mark on where we're gonna cut our factory exhaust. And basically to do that, you're gonna wanna get to this point right here of the exhaust where it starts to get straight is where you're gonna measure from. So like I said, put your tape measure where the straight is basically starting here on the factory exhaust. Go 5 inches in and then mark it. I am going to use some tape here to mark it because I find it a lot easier when you're cutting the exhaust. It'll make it a little bit easier to keep it straight then. Grab your Sawzall or grinder, whatever you prefer to cut with, and then go ahead and cut that mark you just made. I'm not gonna lie, I really hate using Sawzalls, but here we go. With our exhaust cut, we can now actually take off this mount here. Now usually there's a shield right under your S650. Ours is already out because we do so many exhausts on this. They're held in by some 7mm bolts and it's super easy to take out. Once you have the mount disconnected, you can remove the factory muffler. After you're done cutting the factory exhaust, you can grab one of the factory mounts and put it on your Flowmaster Outlaw Series axleback. And once that's done, you can install it to the car. When installing the axleback, put the top hanger in first over here. Connect your factory hanger you just put on. Put in a bolt, but don't tighten it down all the way. We just want to hand tighten this so that way we have something else holding up the axleback. And then from there, fit it onto the factory piping. After you get the axleback fitted onto the factory piping, go ahead and tighten your exhaust clamp down. Now don't tighten it down all the way though, because you're going to want to make some final adjustments in the end. Once you have the current side done that you were working on, repeat the exact same process on the other side. As you can see, the exhaust tip here is hitting the valance on the back of the bumper, and we can't be having that around here. So the main reason why I said to keep those clamps loose up there is because you can actually push the entire axleback up, and then if you have a friend tighten the clamp while you're holding it there, you'll be able to get the perfect placement for your exhaust tip. Once you're done adjusting your exhaust, you can go ahead and tighten everything down. With our Mustang back on the ground and our Outlaw Series axle back installed, we can finally hear what it sounds like. That's a wrap for today's install. We got the Flowmaster Outlaw Series axle backs on our 2024 Mustang, and they sound absolutely awesome. I will say though, they are extremely loud, so just be aware of that when you go to purchase these. Now, another thing I do want to point out is we do have a resonator delete on ours, and we have an X pipe in place of that. So ours is a little bit louder than what yours would be if it had a factory resonator. Now, this job should take you about 45 minutes, and if you have a friend that can help you out, definitely call them over. But if you want to purchase this exhaust, I will have a link down below in our description. But it's time to drop a gear and disappear, and we'll catch you on the next one.